O you whom I have chosen, my eyes are upon you at this very moment, even as the space around you seems silent, and the world remains unaware of the sacred unfolding that is taking place. I see you where you stand, not only your body but your soul, moving through the hurried breaths of life. I see your hands holding tightly to what you believe is precious, to what you think you must protect with all your strength. But I also see what you have lost: the peace, the simplicity, the wholehearted faith that once made you weep in the light of your first love. I hear the stream of thoughts piling within your mind, the calculations, the worries, the quiet promises you make to yourself. I'll return to him when things are calmer, when I have more time. Yet, my child, it is this very moment that I am calling you, not when the world becomes convenient, but when your soul longs for me amid the chaos. It is in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this very second of your existence that I am here and my voice is sounding through the silence. You have often asked, how will I know when the right time has come? Truly, I tell you, there is no time more right than now. Now is the acceptable time. Now is the day of salvation. As it is written in 2 Corinthians 6:2, and I do not lie. You think you must first prepare, perfect yourself, cleanse your heart before you can draw near to me. But you do not understand that your turning back is the preparation itself, that your longing for me is already the sign of being chosen. You do not need to come to me with empty hands made flawless, but with honest hands ready to let go of what does not belong to me. Time flows like a river that never returns, and every drop of it falls into eternity. You think I am slow, but in truth I have been waiting for you. I have stood at the crossroads of your soul day after day, night after night, in every event, sometimes as a whisper, soft as wind, sometimes as a shaking that makes you bow your head. Yet instead of listening, you let the noise of the world drown my voice. You chase applause, praise, and recognition, while my voice, the one that has called you since before the earth was formed, still echoes deep within you. The love you have for me, I know it well. It was once the flame that shone in your nights, the warmth that kept you through the cold. But love cannot remain only a feeling. True love is surrender, when you cease to hold on to your own will and allow mine to live through you. You have asked me many times to reveal your purpose, and I have answered. Yet you did not perceive it, for you desired an answer shaped in your own way. You waited for dazzling signs while I carved the sign within your heart where only stillness and faith can read it. As Elijah heard my voice, not in the storm, not in the earthquake, but in a gentle whisper, 1 Kings 1:9, 1:2. So shall you hear me, if you will only pause. I have kept you alive for a reason, not because of luck, nor because you are wiser than others. There were nights when you should not have awakened again, decisions that could have destroyed you, arrows from the enemy that were broken by my invisible hand. You thought it was coincidence that saved you, but there is no coincidence in your life, only my intervention. I declared, this one is not finished yet. This one still has work to do for my kingdom. And by that word, death could not touch you. But my child, I did not save you merely so that you could live for yourself. I saved you so that you might become a witness of my mercy. I saved you so you could be light in another's darkness. I preserved you so that your very story, stitched back together by grace, embroidered with miracles you did not see when you were inside them, would speak of me. And yet you still live as though this life were your possession, as though the breath in your chest were yours by right. You plan, you worry, you gather, you build, erecting castles of your own upon sand, forgetting that I alone am the rock that endures. Each sunrise is not merely another chance to run the race of survival, but a reminder I have given you one more day, not to waste, but to complete what I have entrusted to you. You were created with a sacred purpose, your name engraved into the blueprint of eternity. You are not a random product of the world, but a deliberate work within the kingdom. Yet if you forget that purpose, if you live only for what fades, your soul will wither, even when your hands are full. For you were made to serve, to love, to carry my word, to those standing on the edge. Do you not see? Every person you meet is an invitation, a chance for me to reveal myself through you. Every desperate gaze you encounter is a mirror reflecting the mission you hold. If you remain silent, who will speak? If you delay, who will go? If you hide your light, who will be illuminated? O you whom I have chosen. Look back on the years that have passed, and you will see my hand woven into every detail. When you fell, I upheld you. When you lost, I preserved what mattered most, your very soul. When you thought to yourself alone, I sent someone a word of comfort, a verse of scripture, a dream, a small sign. I have never abandoned you, even when you strayed from me. And today I call you once again not to condemn but to awaken. For the season has come and the time is no longer long. The harvest is ready but the laborers are few, and you are one of those I have prepared. You once asked me to use you. You once said, Lord, send me. Now I speak, go. Do not wait for a convenient time, for convenience never comes. Begin where you stand with what you have, and I will multiply it. I do not seek the perfect. I seek the willing. I do not need your strength, for my strength already abides within you. You fear that you might fail, that you might disappoint me. But my child, how could you disappoint me when you are striving to obey my voice? Success in my kingdom is not measured by applause or numbers. It is measured by faithfulness. When you are faithful in the small things, you delight me. Every act born from faith is a song of worship. Every trembling step of obedience draws you closer to my heart. For the Lord does not look at what people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 1:6-7. And within your heart, unseen by the world, I am doing something new. My beloved, do you know why I keep emphasizing now? Because this very moment is the threshold between the old and the new. You cannot see it, but in the heavenly realm, this instant is unfolding as a new covenant between you and me. Each time you delay, that door closes a little more, not because I am cruel, but because human hearts change, because the soil of opportunity does not remain soft forever. You say you need more time to be ready, but no one in Scripture was ever ready by their own standards when I called them. Moses trembled before the burning bush, saying he was slow of speech. Jeremiah cried out, Alas, sovereign Lord, I do not know how to speak. I am too young, Jeremiah 1:6. Gideon hid himself in the winepress, unable to believe he was chosen. And Peter, the one who denied my son, became the shepherd of my flock. My child, the calling is not for the perfect. It is for those who dare to say yes while trembling, for it is in weakness that my power is revealed. When you feel insufficient, that is when my grace works most mightily. You still think I desire you to do grand things, to accomplish works that the world will notice. But truly, greatness is not found in the size of your deeds, but in the heart of your obedience. A small cup of water given in my name can echo into eternity. A single word of forgiveness can set a soul free from chains. A hidden act of kindness can cause heaven itself to rejoice. You are not called to measure results, but to sow seeds of faithfulness. The harvest belongs to me. When you speak my words, even if no one responds, they rise before my throne like incense. They never return void. As written in Isaiah 5:5-11, my word that goes out from my mouth will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire. So too will the words I place in your mouth fulfill their purpose. Therefore, dare to speak, dare to act, dare to believe. Do not fear failure, for what the world calls failure is merely a lesson within my plan. Do not fear rejection, for my son too was rejected. Do not fear loneliness, for I walk beside you in every step, in every breath. Do you know why I have placed this urgency within your heart? Because time is shorter than you think. Each day there are souls leaving this world without ever knowing me. Each night hearts collapse in despair without hearing that hope still exists. I have sent you my chosen one to be the living testimony that I still save, still heal, still turn midnight into dawn. But if you keep waiting, those very souls will lose their chance to hear my voice through you. You think you are waiting for me to move, but truly I am waiting for you to step forward. You keep praying for me to open doors, not realizing the key is already in your hand. I have placed within you my word, my light, my love, everything needed for your mission. Do not fear that you are not holy enough. Holiness is not something you achieve, but something I clothe you with when you surrender. Remember this, you are not called to be perfect, but to be faithful. Not chosen by merit, but by grace. My child, hesitation is one of the enemy's most subtle snares. He does not stop you with blatant evil, but with gentle whispers. Not yet, maybe later. Wait until you're sure. Yet with every delay, the flame within you dims a little, the light fades a little. You do not see it, but in the spiritual realm, hesitation clouds, the signal angels, wait, and ripe fields remain ungathered. I do not want you to live in fear. I want you to live awake. For the breath you draw is not your right. It is the gift I give each morning. You inhale the air without realizing it is a miracle, but it is the very sign that I am still calling you. You cannot promise yourself tomorrow, for tomorrow does not belong to you. You only have today, and today I am speaking begin. When you step forward, I will go before you to prepare the way. When you speak, my spirit will give you the words. When you are weak, my grace will uphold you. When you are afraid, I will cover you beneath the wings of my power. I do not need you to rush to make the world believe, my child. I need you to believe in me. For faith is the gateway through which all miracles unfold. When Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going, he only knew that I had spoken, and he obeyed. When you walk in that same way, even without seeing the outcome, you will witness my intervention unfold layer by layer as the sun pushes back the darkness of night. Every act of obedience is a declaration that you belong to the light. I want you to know that even if you think yourself small, you are still part of the great tapestry I am weaving. Not a single thread in your life is meaningless. The trials you have endured, the tears you have shed, the times you have fallen and risen again, all of these are the raw materials from which I will craft a testimony. You will tell your story, and others will believe that my grace is sufficient. Then you will understand why I chose you, and why I never allowed you to hide forever. O my chosen one, listen carefully, for what I am about to speak will become the foundation of your journey ahead. You have often thought that obedience is a heavy burden, a painful sacrifice of what you love in exchange for my approval. But no, my child, obedience is not loss, it is return. It is the path that leads your soul back to its original place, where you and I are one, where your will melts into mine like a river flowing into the sea. Obedience is when you cease to resist the current I have ordained, when you stop swimming against it in fear, and begin allowing me to lead you to rest. It is in surrender that you find true freedom. As my son Jesus said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me, John 4:3-4. Not because he was forced, but because he found complete joy in obedience. And I want you to taste that same joy, the joy of one who knows they are living exactly in the place they were created to be. You often fear that obedience will cost you what you hold dear, that you will lose freedom, identity, or self. But my child, I have never taken anything from you without intending to give something greater. When Abraham obeyed and laid his son upon the altar, he did not lose his child. He gained a faith he had never known. When Moses cast down his staff, he did not lose it. He received the power to turn it into a sign. When Peter left his nets, he did not lose his livelihood. He became a fisher of souls. And when you let go, you do not lose control. You are simply being brought into my arms, where all things are set in perfect order. Obedience does not make you smaller. It makes you a vessel in the hands of the Almighty. It does not confine you. It opens the heavens I have prepared for you. It is only when you release your grip that I can take hold of your life fully and lead you where you never dared to dream. I know there are things you still hesitate to surrender, corners of your soul. You keep hidden wounds. You fear I might touch, but I have not come to wound you. I have come to heal you. Whatever you hide festers in the dark, but when you bring it into my light, it dissolves. You fear losing control, not realizing that I am the only true place of safety. You fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart, but remember, your foundation is only secure when it is built upon me. Sometimes I shake your life not to destroy, but to reveal what is real. When I send storms, it is not to drown you, but to expose your roots, so you may know what you stand upon. My child, I am not only the one who calls, I am also the one who prepares. When I say go, I also say I will go with you. When I ask you to let go, I also prepare something new in its place. No step taken in my will ever leads to emptiness. Remember this, my child, my will is never separate from my love. When I call you, it is not for the sake of testing, but for the sake of drawing you nearer to me. I do not seek perfection in you. I seek a willing heart. Like David, who made mistakes yet was still called a man after God's own heart. Do you see? It was not because he never erred, but because he knew how to return. The beauty of surrender lies not in never falling, but in rising again and saying, "Here I am, Lord." When you speak those words, heaven falls silent and light pours down. Angels rejoice, for they know another soul has opened its door to the unfolding of eternity's plan. If only you could see what I see, you would never delay again. I see the souls waiting for the light you carry, the lives that will be restored through a word you speak, a song you write, a single gesture of love you extend. I see the enemy working day and night to convince you that you are too small, too flawed, too unworthy. But I say to you, you have been chosen. Not because of your ability, but because of my purpose. Not because of your merit, but because of my grace. And that grace is enough to turn the trembling into the strong. It is I who will accomplish it. Remember the times you were at the edge of despair, yet were saved. Remember the moments when you thought you had lost everything, yet were lifted again. All of it was not to make you proud, but to show you that the same power still moves within you. When you walk in obedience, the heavens shift, doors open, and miracles happen not because you strive, but because you agree. Obedience is the journey of faith, my child. It begins with trembling, but ends in glory. When you say yes for the first time, you may not understand what awaits, but do not be afraid, for I will teach you step by step. Each day you will learn a new part of my heart. Each trial will be a lesson in grace. I do not merely want you to serve me. I want you to know me. And when you truly know me, you will see that serving is no longer duty, but joy, natural as breathing. You will see that I never ask beyond your capacity. I only ask you to place your hand in mine. You will see that surrender does not erase who you are. It restores you to who you were always meant to be, a bearer of my light. Therefore, rise up, my beloved. Step out of your comfort. Open your mouth, take action, begin. Do not wait until you see the path, clearly walk, and the path will unfold beneath your feet. I have not called you to stand still. I have called you to walk in faith. Every act of obedience is a seed sown into eternity, and one day you will see it bloom radiant beyond imagination. Then you will understand that everything I have done, every stirring, every calling, every trial was never in vain. They were all part of how I prepared you for the glory yet unseen. Believe me, my child, for what I am about to do through you will cause heaven to rejoice and the earth to know that I am the living God. My beloved child, I will lead you into the depths of the relationship between myself and the one I have chosen. This relationship is not built only upon promises, but through silent seasons of training that only a still soul can discern. For I do not merely want you to serve me, I want you to know me. and to know me you must walk through the places others avoid, the places of silence, of waiting, of testing. There every layer of your old self will be peeled away, every illusion of control will fade, and you will behold yourself in the light of truth. Not so that you may be shamed, but that you may be healed. For only when you see yourself as you truly are can you receive grace in its fullness. My child, I do not send trials to make you fall, but to teach you how to stand. I do not withdraw my hand to make you lonely, but to teach you to recognize me, even when you cannot feel me. I do not remain silent to punish, but to mature your soul. When a child no longer hears its mother's voice, it begins to walk, guided by the memory of her warmth. Likewise, when I seem silent, I am teaching you to walk by faith. You once asked me, Lord, why do you stay silent when I pray? And I replied, because I am listening. There are times when my presence does not sound like a voice, but moves through the atmosphere, through your breath, through the subtle shifts your eyes cannot yet perceive. My child, you must learn to recognize me not only through feeling, but through trust. When you cannot see yet still believe, that is true faith, and such faith shakes the heavens. Do you see that every servant of mine in Scripture went through seasons like these? Joseph was sold into slavery, but in prison he learned that grace can bloom even in chains. David was driven from his throne and hid in caves, yet there he learned to sing songs that only a crushed soul could compose. Job lost everything, yet at the end he declared, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Job 4:2-5. And you, my child, I am training you in the same way, not to punish, but to prepare. For no one can wear a crown who has not first carried a cross. No one can speak of light who has not walked through the night. I am shaping you through seasons of stillness so that when I say go, you will move without trembling, speak without fear, and love without condition. Do not think you have been abandoned simply because you do not yet see results. Do not think you have failed simply because what you asked for has not arrived. Every delay in my kingdom serves a purpose. When I delay, I am not wasting time. I am using time to prepare you. My child, you have prayed for me to open doors, but if those doors opened before your soul was ready to walk through, they would crush you. So I hold them closed, not to deny, but to protect. I am teaching you that grace is not only the act of giving, but also the restraint of perfect timing. Like the potter at the wheel, I am shaping you turn by turn, layer by layer, detail by detail, until your form reflects my image. At times you will feel the pressure. At times you will think you are about to break. But I tell you, do not fear, for I know your limits. Clay in my hands is never abandoned midway. It is only being shaped until I see it complete. You ask me, why must I pass through the fire? Because the fire does not come to destroy, but to refine. No gold shines unless it has first been in the furnace. No soul radiates until it has endured trial. When I allow fire to touch you, it is because I know you are strong enough to endure and precious enough to be refined. Do not ask me to remove the flame. Ask me to be with you in it. For as I was with the three in the furnace of Nebuchadnezzar, so I will be with you, Daniel 3:2-5. The fire will not burn you. It will burn away your chains. It will consume fear, pride, and self-reliance, leaving within you a purer, brighter, and more enduring faith. And when you emerge, there will be no scent of smoke upon you, only the fragrance of holiness. My child, remember this. Every pain along the journey is permitted under my supervision. Not one tear falls without my knowing. Not one sigh escapes my hearing. I count each drop, each minute, each long night you endure, and I will use them all for my purpose. Every scar you bear, I will turn into a testimony. Every crack in your heart I will fill with light. Every weakness in you will become an open door through which my grace can flow. For I do not seek a flawless vessel. I seek one that is willing to be filled, and you, my chosen one, are that vessel. There are seasons, my child, when I train you not through words but through silence. For there are lessons that can only be learned in the pause between my sentences. You call it emptiness, but I call it growth. In those days when your prayers seem to fall into nothingness, when you kneel and cannot feel my breath, when the words of Scripture seem dry and distant, those are the moments I am digging deeper into your soul to make room for the roots of faith. Do not mistake my silence for absence. A true teacher does not speak during the test. The student must use what they have learned to show they understand. In the same way, I am silent, not because I have departed, but because I want to see you remember what I have already planted in your heart. My child, remember this. Faith does not grow in pleasant light, but in the darkness of trust. When you feel there is nothing left to hold on to, that is when you are learning to lean truly on me. When everything external falls away, your soul learns to cling to what cannot be shaken. I know the nights you cannot sleep when your heart trembles with questions that have no answer. I know the mornings you step out with a weary smile masking the emptiness inside. Yet even in those moments you are being forged. You may not see it, but each time you still choose to believe, still choose to pray, still choose to love, without being loved in return. Heaven records it. Your faith is being shaped layer by layer, day by day, in an invisible furnace. And when it is strong enough, it will become a light by which others find me through you. My child, I do not let you pass through barren days without reason. Every desert carries a path that leads to a spring, and every trial bears within it the seed of a miracle. You only need enough patience not to give up midway. Many have come close to victory only to turn back because they mistook my silence for forgetfulness. But you must know this, when I am silent, I am working more than ever. When I hide my face, I am preparing something that no one can take from you. Look to Scripture. Joseph was imprisoned for years before glory came. David wandered the wilderness before he wore the crown. Even my son endured 40 days in the desert before his ministry began. No glory is born without testing. No promise is fulfilled unless the one who received it remains steadfast in faith. You ask me, how can I keep my heart when the waiting feels endless? My child, keep it by remembering what I have done, not just by staring at what I have not yet done. When you recall the times I rescued you, opened paths, and comforted you, faith is rekindled. Write them down, speak them aloud, tell your soul again of the old miracles, for they are proof that I still move. I do not change. As I was faithful to Abraham, to Moses, to Elijah, so I am faithful to you. And when you are weak, remember, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 2:3-1. I do not only lead you to green pastures, I sometimes guide you through shadowed valleys, so you may learn that I am the light. When you cannot see, walk on. When you cannot hear, trust that I am still speaking. For true faith does not need evidence. It only needs the memory of my goodness. I know there are moments you wish to give up. I know the days when you think the promise will never come true. But if you could see through my eyes, you would know that every event is a link in the chain of grace. No tear is wasted. No night is meaningless. In the very place that feels desolate, I will cause life to bloom. In the moment you think you have been forgotten, I am rewriting your destiny. For I am the God who works in silence. Silence, like a seed buried in the ground, yet still growing. And when the season comes, it will break through the soil, strong, green, and vibrant, despite the days of burial. Let your heart rest in me, my child. Silence is not emptiness. It is the space where I breathe new life into your soul, my beloved. When the season of testing passes, you will see that what I give you is not merely deliverance, but transformation. What once made you stumble will no longer have power over you, for you will have learned to see through my eyes. You will understand that trials take nothing from you. They only strip away what is temporary to reveal what is eternal. In hardship you have been refined to reflect my light more clearly. In tears you have learned to pray not to escape pain, but to draw closer to me. That is true victory, not when the storm ends, but when your soul sings in the middle of it. When you stand in the fire and still say, "I trust you," when you lose everything and still give thanks, that is when your faith has matured. I want you to understand that peace is not the reward that comes after the storm. It is the strength that carries you through it. True peace does not depend on circumstances. It flows from my presence. It is not the stillness of the world outside, but the heartbeat in rhythm with mine within. When you place your trust in me, you will feel a quiet so deep that the world cannot touch it. Like a ship in a tempest, it may be shaken by the wind, but if its anchor holds firm to the seabed, it will not sink. My peace is that anchor. You will understand why Jesus could sleep through the raging storm. Mark 4:3-8, because he knew no storm was greater than the one who was with him. In the same way, when you know that I am within you, you will learn to rest even while the world roars. My child, the wounds you carry are no longer marks of pain, but seals of chosenness. Every scar upon your soul is testimony that I have touched you, that you have been shaped by my hands. Like Jacob, after wrestling with God, his walk became limping, but that limp proved he had encountered me. So it will be with you. You will not walk as before, but every step you take will bear the imprint of grace. I have not healed you to erase the marks for some wounds I have kept, so that you would never forget that I once saved you. They are gentle reminders that you belong to me, that your strength does not come from willpower, but from my abiding presence. And when others look at you, they will see light shining through the cracks, the kind of light that could never exist if the vessel had not once been broken. O my chosen one, let joy return to you. Not the noisy joy of the world, but the deep joy that knows all things rest in my hands. When you believe that I am working, even in what you do not understand, that joy will never fade. True joy is not a fleeting emotion. It is a flame that glows quietly within, burning brighter when the wind blows. It is laughter born through tears, the smile that looks upward and knows that all things work together for good for those who love God. Romans 8:8. I do not want you to live in fear, always waiting for the next storm. I want you to live as a child who knows their Father holds everything in his hands. Then you will be free. Free to love, to serve, to walk without hesitation. From now on, my child, walk in quiet faith. No need for noise, no need to prove, just be real with me. Let every act you do become a small hymn rising to heaven. Let every breath become a word of gratitude. Let those who meet you feel peace without knowing why, for they are encountering me through you. You have passed through fire, through wind, through shadow, now you carry the light within. Do not fear to begin again. I am the new beginning. Do not fear the steps ahead. I am the way. Do not fear loss. I am the reward. And when you look back, you will see that every tear that ever fell has become a seed blooming in the eternal field. My beloved child, now is the time I call you to step out from your hiding place. The season of silence has passed, and the season of action is unfolding. O one who has been refined in the fire, now you are ready to carry the light I have ignited in you into the world. Do not wait for a great sign. This very breath is proof that I still need you. My child, walk not in haste, but in vigilance, not in worry, but in peace. For when you begin to walk in response to the call, the heavens will move, doors will open, and everything I have promised will begin to unfold in part. I tell you that what you have endured has not been in vain. The dark days were not punishment, but preparation. The tears you have sown will become the rain that nourishes the field you are about to enter. The pain you have borne will transform into a living testimony of my grace. You thought you had lost many years in silence, but in reality, you have been refined like gold in the fire. Now the light you carry is no longer weak like a candle, but steady like the lamp of one who keeps watch through the night. When you speak, Others will feel the strength of the truth, not by your words, but by the Holy Spirit accompanying you. When you reach someone with your compassion, they will feel the healing flow from you, for it is my hand working through yours. My child, I send you not to prove anything but to serve, not to be known but to make my name known. The world is thirsty, and I place within you the living water. There are those who will meet you only once, but that encounter will change them forever. There are words you speak that may seem small, but they will echo into eternity. Do not underestimate the impact of your light, for even a small spark can cause the darkness to retreat. As Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, Matthew 5:1-4. You are that city, my child, though small in the world you were made to shine. My chosen one, understand that the world you step into will not easily accept you. There will be those who doubt, those who reject, and voices of mockery. But do not step back, for my Son, the crucified one, was also rejected, and through that rejection salvation was made available. You are not called to be applauded, but to remain faithful. Do not measure the worth of your mission by how many embrace it, but by how many souls are touched. Do not fear closed doors, for each one that closes will guide you back to the right path. I will open doors that no one can shut, and I will shut doors that no one can open, as I have spoken in Revelation 3:7. Do not forget, I do not send you alone. My Spirit will go before you to prepare the way. My angels will guard your steps, so that you will not stumble upon any stone. When you speak, my words will be placed in your mouth. When you act, my hand will act with you. And when you are weary, my arm will uphold you. Remember, I am not just the one who calls you, I am the one who accompanies you. Everywhere you go, I have already gone before you. Every challenge you face, I have already prepared a way out. Every difficulty you encounter, I have already set a path to victory. You only need to walk, the rest is mine. My child, when you begin to walk, do not think that the light you carry must shine immediately. My light does not come like lightning, blinding and bright, but like the dawn, rising gradually layer by layer until it shines fully. I will use you at my pace, for I know your endurance. I know when to make you stop and when to make you go. I know when to keep you in the shadow and when to place you in the light. Each stage of your mission has its own purpose, and no stage is without meaning. Even when you offer just a word of encouragement, a smile, or a listening ear, it can be the thread that weaves a miracle. The world does not need eloquent words, it needs sincerity. It does not need great lamps, but unwavering candles. Therefore, live as the light, not just talk about it. Let your kindness be your testimony for me. Let your forgiveness be a sermon louder than any words. Let your love be the proof that I am in you. There are some who will never read the Bible, but they will read you. Every action you take, every attitude you display, is an answer to their unspoken question. Is God real? And my child, you are the answer I send to them. I know that at times you will tremble, for this world is full of noise and doubt. But you do not need to argue to defend me. I prove myself by my power. You only need to live according to the truth. When you walk into a room and bring peace, the darkness must recede. When you pray for others, I act even though your eyes have not seen. When you choose love instead of judgment, you are paving the way for me to touch their hearts. And when you forgive those who have wronged you, you move heaven itself. My child, true strength is not in raising your voice, but in humility. It is not in the power of your hand, but in the softness of your heart. As my Son, the one who washed the feet of his disciples, so too you are called to lower yourself to serve. When you bow down, that is when I will raise you up. My child, I have placed gifts within you, not for you to hide. Every ability, every passion, every dream you carry is a seed I have sown. Bring them out to be used for my kingdom. If you have a song, sing it. If you have words, encourage. If you have hands, help. If you have a listening heart, comfort. No gift is too small when used with love. A meal you prepare with a sincere heart can soften the hardest heart. A silent prayer can change the destiny of an entire family. An act of kindness can make the hopeless believe there is still hope. My child, I use the small things to reveal the great. I used a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed a multitude, John 6:9, and I am still doing the same through those who are willing to give their portion. Do not fear that you will be forgotten. Whatever is done in my name will never be lost. Every good deed is recorded in the book of heaven, and no act of love is ever in vain. The world may not know your name, but heaven knows it well. The angels call you by the name I have given you, a name written in light. You need not be praised, for your reward is not on this earth. When you serve, you are storing up treasures where moths and rust cannot destroy, where thieves cannot break in and steal, Matthew 6:20. And when you do good in silence, I who sees in secret will reward you openly. My chosen one, I know that there are times when you grow weary. There are times you sow and see no blossoms speak, and hear no response, love, and receive no love in return. But do not be discouraged. Every seed needs time to grow. Every prayer needs time to take root. Every soul needs time to soften. Do not let delays make you doubt my plan. I am still working, even when you do not see it. Keep sowing, for the harvest will come, and you will be amazed at how much fruit will be produced. You may sow only a word, but I will make it into a word of life in the heart of another. You may give only a drop of water, but I will make it into an endless stream for the thirsty. When you walk in your mission, keep your heart soft. Do not let success make you proud, nor let hardship harden your heart. Let love guide all that you do. For if you have gifts but no love, you are nothing more than a clanging cymbal. 1 Corinthians 1:3-1. Let love be the breath of your mission, for only love can change the world. Love with your eyes, with your words, with your hands, with your presence. And when you love, I am right there with every gesture, every breath, every heartbeat. My beloved, understand that every miracle begins with a small act of obedience. It is not the great deeds that move heaven, but the trust in the smallest things. When you do what I command, though no one sees, when you choose to love in a place where others only hate, when you are faithful in work that no one praises, that is when heaven stirs. For you are walking to the beat of my heart, and it is that beat that moves the world. You still think miracles happen when I change circumstances, but, my child, the true miracle is when I change you. When your heart becomes soft, when you can forgive, when you can love without expecting anything in return, that is when my power triumphs. All miracles outside begin with the inner miracle. Do not belittle a small action done in my name. No good deed is ever meaningless when done with love. A smile can save a soul on the edge of despair. A prayer of intercession can change the course of destiny. A loving embrace can make someone who feels invisible know that I see them. When you give, I multiply. When you humble yourself, I lift you up. When you sow in silence, I will make flowers bloom where you did not expect. Remember this, my child, in my kingdom there is no waste. Every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every silent prayer is stored in my jar, and one day I will tilt that jar, and blessings will overflow in your life like the first rains of the season. I see the times you doubt, when you wonder if what you are doing is making any difference. I hear your sighs when you try and see no results. But my child, trust me, the results are not always before you. Sometimes they are behind you in the souls you have touched without even knowing it. Perhaps you will never know that the person you encouraged has found their faith again, or that the child you prayed for has become a source of blessing to thousands. But in heaven, every action is recorded meticulously, and in the eternal realm, you will see the chain of light stretching back from your acts of obedience. My child, I do not measure success by the glory of the results, but by the depth of your trust. You will see when you walk in obedience, I will do things beyond your understanding. The doors you cannot open will open on their own. The hearts that seem like stone will soften at your words. I will make the person you do not know become the one to help you in your time of need. I will cause the one who once hurt you to bow before my grace. For I do not just walk with you, I also go ahead of you, preparing each meeting, each event, each turn. There will be miracles that come without you seeking them, for they are already wrapped in my plan. As it is written in Isaiah, before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 6:5-4. This world is full of weary souls. They are waiting for what you carry. They do not need eloquent speeches. They need a heart of compassion. They do not need the strong. They need the ones who have been weak but still stand up. And you are the proof that I can turn what seems broken into instruments of healing. Every time you share your story with humility, I use you as a mirror, reflecting my compassion. Every time you comfort others with your old pain, you turn wounds into holy relics. Do not be ashamed of your past, for it makes the strongest testimony. I have turned ashes into glory, tears into jewels, failures into proof of victory. O my chosen one, I want you to understand, these miracles are not the reward of perfection, but the result of faith. You do not need to reach a certain level of righteousness for me to act. You only need to open your heart for me to act through you. When you believe, I move. When you obey, I work. When you step, I move mountains. When you call, I answer. Remember, the sea parted only when the Israelites stepped into the water. The walls of Jericho fell only when the people shouted. The bread multiplied only after the boy offered his 5 loaves and 2 fish. Nothing happens before an act of obedience. Therefore, my child, do not only pray, act. Do not only dream, move. Do not only speak of faith, live by faith. As you walk, weariness will come. There will be days of headwinds, cold nights, and dry seasons. But never forget that I am the source that never runs dry. When you are weak, I will be your strength. When you are lost, I will be your compass. When you stumble, I will lift you up. When you weep, I will wipe your tears. And when you rejoice, I will rejoice with you. Every moment of your life rests in the palm of my hand, and nothing can separate you from my love. Romans 8:3-9. Let your faith be your lamp, your love be your light, and your obedience be the fire that burns away all fear. Then will come a day when, as you look back, you will realize every step, every choice, every tear was a stroke in the grand masterpiece I have painted. You will see that nothing was wasted, not one loss, not one delay, not one season of solitude. All of it led to this moment when you became the light the world so desperately needed. And when you shine, it will not be so that others praise you, but that they may see me through you. That is the purpose, the meaning, the true miracle. For my child, I do not merely want you to witness a miracle. I want you to become one. My beloved, when you begin to walk in the light, do not be surprised when the darkness rises to oppose you. For what light appears without causing the shadows to tremble? But do not be afraid, for darkness can never overcome the light. As it is written in John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. You are entering a new season, a place where glory and challenge walk side by side, where miracles and opposition appear together. Not because I wish to make things hard for you, but because I am strengthening your foundation. The faith, love, and compassion you carry will be tested to prove that they are real. No gold is called pure until it has passed through fire. No gem shines until it has been refined. When you face adversity, do not think that I have withdrawn. In those very hours that seem silent, I am fighting for you in ways you cannot see. Battles are being fought not on earth but in the heavens, where my angels carry out my word to guard you. When you pray, your voice does not stop in your room. It pierces the unseen realm and reaches my throne. There are prayers you think forgotten, but they are still moving, still working, still bearing fruit. For I am the God who never forgets a single word spoken in faith. Do not measure your success by fleeting emotions, for feelings shift with the wind, but I never change. On this journey you will meet those who do not understand you, even those who oppose you. They will say you are foolish, that you dream too much, that you believe too easily. But do not let their words shake you, for they see only the surface while I see within. Remember, Noah was mocked for building an ark in the desert. Abraham was called delusional for believing in a promise of descendants. David was underestimated when he went to battle with only a sling, but it was that boy who felled the giant. All those I have chosen have been misunderstood, for the world cannot comprehend what belongs to the Spirit. They will understand only when they see the fruit, when the light you carry begins to change the atmosphere around them. Then they will know that I am real and that you did not walk in vain. When loneliness comes, remember that you are never alone. There are moments when I will separate you from the crowd, not to punish, but to speak with you privately. You must learn the difference between isolation and consecration. Isolation dries the soul, but consecration fills it with my presence. There are seasons when I draw you away from noise to whisper what you could never hear in chaos. As I led Moses up Mount Sinai, I too have mountains reserved for you. There I will carve my words upon your heart, not with ink, but with the fire of my Spirit. So when I close certain doors for a time, do not be disheartened. It is because I am opening another, the one that leads deeper into my presence. Stand firm when the storm comes. Every storm is not sent to destroy, but to strengthen. When the winds grow fierce, the roots must dig deeper. When the waves rise high, the ship must anchor tighter. I allow trials not to make you weak, but to teach you where true strength lies. You will learn that strength is not found in muscle or willpower, but in resting in me. When you cease striving and begin trusting, that is when I fight for you. You will see me work in paradoxical ways, turning sorrow into wisdom, loss into blessing, storms into pathways. When I say be still, it is not to make you surrender, but to let you witness my hand move. O my chosen one, do not seek to escape suffering, but learn to find me within it. When you give me your tears, they become seeds of joy. When you hand me your failure, it becomes the platform for victory. When you surrender your fear, it transforms into faith. Everything placed in my hands is made new. I turned Moses' staff into a symbol of power, ashes into oil, and a tomb into the birthplace of life. Do you think I will not do the same for you? You are a work still being shaped, and my hands have never left my creation. Child, hold fast to faith when trials increase, for it is in the darkest night that dawn is nearest. Do not let the fearful voices of the world drown out my voice within you. You will hear many voices, the whispers of doubt, of fatigue, of discouragement, but learn to recognize mine among them all. My voice is not loud or forceful, but gentle as breath, yet powerful as thunder. When you hear, you will know, and when you know, you will rest. Engrave this truth deeply, my child. Your strength does not lie in being fearless, but in continuing to walk even while afraid. Beloved, in the days when the storms rise and the winds of trial lash against your soul, remember, I am in the midst of the storm. You are not merely standing within it. You are walking beside the one who commands both wind and wave. As Jesus stood in the boat and said, "Peace, be still," and the wind ceased, and the sea grew calm. Mark 4:39. I am speaking the same words into your heart. You do not need to calm the storm by your own strength. You only need to keep your eyes fixed on me. When you look at me, the storm cannot consume you. When you cling to me, you will learn that peace does not come when the waves stop, but when your heart stands firm amid them. My peace does not promise a smooth journey, but a heart that cannot be overcome. My chosen child, I know there are nights when you bow your head and no prayer escapes your lips. I know there are moments when all you can do is remain silent, for words are not enough to express the weight upon your heart. But my child, even that silence is a prayer. When your tears fall, I listen to every drop. When you do not know what to ask for, my spirit intercedes for you with groans too deep for words. Romans 8:2-6. You do not need to be strong to be heard by me, for I have loved you even when you were at your weakest. Let your pain become the place where you meet me. Let your weariness become the door that leads you to true rest. When you no longer have the strength to stand, I will lift you up. When you cannot speak, I will sing over you. I allow the winds to blow, not to topple you, but to bend what needs to be shaped. What is unstable will break, so that what is true may stand firm. I do not want you to live under the illusion that faith is a shield from all harm. Faith does not exempt you from suffering, but gives you the strength to endure it. When you suffer and still choose to believe, when you endure loss and still choose to love, when you face betrayal and still choose to forgive, that is when you are overcoming. Not by your strength, but by my grace. My child, let that grace work. Grace is not just forgiveness. It is the power of heaven operating in the weakness of the chosen. There are times when I will let you stand alone to teach you to trust in me more than in others. Just as the eagle pushes its young out of the nest not to punish but to teach it to fly, I am teaching you to fly with the wings of faith. When you are pushed out of your comfort zone, know that nothing happens outside of my hand. The wind you fear is the very strength that will help you soar. My child, spread your wings, for no one can fly while still gripping the edge of the nest. You will discover that right beneath your wings, my hand is there lifting you, covering you and never letting go. I speak to you. Do not fear what is to come. The world will have turmoil, but I am still the one who holds authority. When you hear bad news, remember that I still reign on the throne. When you see injustice, remember that my justice is not delayed. When you are treated unfairly, do not take vengeance, for vengeance belongs to me. You only need to keep your heart pure, keep your hands clean, and keep your mouth free of bitter words. Let me fight for you, for I have never lost. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord. As you face adversity, do not forget to lift your eyes, for above you is the sky, and above the sky is me. When you only look at the problem, it will consume you. But when you look up to me, you will see everything shrink in the power of my hand. Learn to see with the eyes of faith. Faith does not make you blind to reality. It allows you to see a greater reality, that I am working in what you perceive as chaos. When you look at the picture from a small angle, you only see a mess of colors. But when you see through my eyes, you will see the complete picture, a masterpiece painted with both light and dark. Every trial is a stroke in that masterpiece, and when everything comes together, you will understand that no brushstroke is unnecessary. When I say I am with you, it is not an abstract comfort, but a reality. My presence does not merely surround you like the air, it dwells within you. Every heartbeat you have is a reminder that I am still there. When you walk through barren lands, I am the stream beneath your feet. When you step through the darkest night, I am the torch before you. When you fall, I am the hand that lifts you. When you are weak, I am your strength. And when you are weary, I am the place where you rest your head. There is not a moment that I am not with you. Just as the fire never goes out on the altar, my love never stops burning within you. Let your courage come not from knowing what will happen, but from knowing who holds what will happen. Live each day with the serenity of one who knows that every battle has already been won in the heavens. When you dare to believe this, you will feel strength pour in like a river. You will not only endure, but you will sing in the storm. And that song, the song of one who believes in the midst of trials, will cause all of heaven to rejoice. My child, when the final storm clears, you will see that what remains is not ruin but glory. Every gust of wind that seemed to threaten to sweep you away has only made your roots of faith go deeper. Every tear that seemed pointless has watered the seed of new life in your soul, and when the dawn rises, you will see that what I promised has never failed. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 1265. My child, I do not promise that the road will be easy, but I promise that at the end of it there will be light. I do not promise you will not cry, but I promise that not one tear will fall without purpose. I do not promise that you will not suffer, but I promise that no wound will be wasted. For everything I allow to pass through your life is training you for the glory that is to come. Look back and see what I have done. You thought you were forgotten, but in reality, I have still been writing the story line by line, page by page. You thought you were lost, but that very path has led you closer to me. You thought you lost everything, but in that loss you found the most precious thing, me. Every trial has not destroyed you. They have only broken what was false. Every loss has not taken what you need. It has only stripped away what you must let go of. When I allowed you to go through the fire, it was so you would shine like pure gold. When I allowed you to fall, it was so you would learn that I am the firm foundation. When I allowed others to leave, it was so no one could take my place in your heart. And now, my child, you are different. No longer the child afraid of the darkness, but the one standing firm in the night with the light in your hand. My child, know this: when I restore, I never just return what was lost. I make it new and better. I do not simply mend the broken vessel. I overlay it with gold so that its light shines brighter. What you once saw as scars will now become signs of being chosen. You will no longer hide your wounds, but tell them as proof of victory. You will stand in the world not to boast, but to testify that I am real, that grace is enough, that love still triumphs. I will make your words like cool water to the thirsty, and your steps like a fragrance that drives away sorrow. When you open your mouth, my words will pour out. When you reach out, my hands will act. For you no longer live for yourself, but as an instrument of heaven here on earth. And then, my child, miracles will no longer be rare in your life, because you will have become the miracle. When you walk, the environment will change. When you speak, hearts will soften. When you pray, the heavens will open. Not because of your own power, but because I am within you. The light does not boast of itself. It only does its work to shine in the darkness. So too, you only need to be faithful in what I have given you, and the light will radiate on its own. My child, you have been shaped to be a lamp in the night. Do not hide it, do not fear it shining. Let that light shine wherever you go, so that those who are lost may find their way back. You do not need to know how far you will go, only that each step matters. Every day you live is a new page in the story I am writing with you, a story of love overcoming all, of faith that never falters, and of light that never fades. My chosen child, lift your head up. The battle is no longer a burden but a privilege. For no one is chosen to sit idly in comfort. The chosen one is entrusted to bring light into the darkness. And I have seen you, the one who once feared, who once doubted, who once stumbled, now standing tall, shining and singing. My child, I rejoice more than you know. For finally you have understood victory is not when the storm ceases, but when you are still singing in the storm. Keep that song in your heart, for I will lead you into new lands where the light you radiate will touch souls that have never heard my name. I will expand your boundaries, increase your influence, and you will see the promises I made begin to take shape. And when you look around, you will know that everything that caused you to weep was the very thing that brought you here. My child, now, you are ready for a new season, a season of results, of peace, of glory. But remember, this always remain in me, for without me all victories are empty. Keep your heart soft, for true strength is born within a humble heart. Love with genuine love, for it is the fire that keeps your light from going out. And as you continue your journey, remember, I am not only the one who began with you, but I will be with you to the very end. Until that day comes when all things are completed, when you see me face to face, I will say to you what all of heaven has been waiting for. Well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord. My beloved, when your soul has been purified through fire, shaped in the wind and renewed in tears, I call you to step into a new phase, the phase of holy service. No longer is this the season where you merely learn to stand firm, but the season where you walk firmly in my power. This is not the mission of striving, it is the natural flow of love that has matured, for when love ripens it cannot stand still. It will find a way to give, to pour out, to become a blessing to the world. You have been healed not to sit idle but to heal others. You have been saved not to live in safety but to help others find the way out. You have been loved not to keep it to yourself but to carry that love far and wide. Understand that serving me is not merely work, it is a state of the soul. It does not begin with your hands but with your heart. When your heart is filled with me, everything you do becomes worship. A gentle word spoken to the weary is a sacred offering. A gesture of forgiveness to the one who has hurt you is a sacrifice. A loving glance at the lost is a hymn of praise. My child, do not think that to serve me you need a pulpit or a crowd. Your field is wherever you stand. Your church is your heart where I dwell. Every person you meet is a soul I have sent, and every small action you perform in my name carries eternal worth. You have asked me for power, and now I say to you, true power is love in humility. The world thinks that power is making others bow down, but in my kingdom, power is bowing down for the sake of others. When you kneel to wash feet, you touch the deepest part of my heart. When you lay your hand on the shoulder of the forsaken, the angels bow in recognition, for it is an act of heaven. My child, serve as my son, serve not by power, but by mercy. Walk gently through the world, but leave behind a profound mark of grace. Speak with truth, but filled with love. Help with wisdom, but without seeking glory for yourself. When you do this, I will be in every breath, every smile, every word you speak. Remember, what you do is not to prove your worth, but to reflect on me. I do not need you to prove that you are useful. I want you to become proof that I am good. Everything you do in my name, even if it's just giving a thirsty person a drink, I see it. I remember every time you quietly help, every time you hold back anger to preserve peace, every time you choose to love even when rejected. All these things are a sweet fragrance rising to my throne. My child, do not grow discouraged when no one notices, for I see it all. Do not stop when you have not yet seen the results, for the seeds I have entrusted to you will sprout in due season. Do not seek recognition from men, for your reward comes from heaven, and no one can take it away. I want you to learn a deeper truth. Serving is not a duty, but a grace. Not everyone is chosen to bear light. I do not give you this task because you deserve it, but because I trust you. The calling is a privilege, not a burden. When you serve with gratitude, you will find joy flowing from the work itself. This joy does not depend on others' reactions, but on the fact that you know you are doing the right thing. When you care for a soul, when you wipe away the tears of the weak, when you speak words of hope to the hopeless, that is, when you are co-laboring with me in the work of redeeming the world. Beloved child, let your heart beat in unison with my heart. When you see someone suffering, do not turn away. When you see someone lonely, do not remain silent. When you see injustice, do not look the other way. Let compassion lead you, for it is the river of heaven. You will find that serving does not tire you, for its energy comes from love itself. The more you love, the stronger you become. The more you give, the fuller you are. The more humble you are, the brighter you shine. For in my kingdom, the greatest is the one who serves the most. When you bow down, you touch the highest point. When you give, you become rich. When you forget yourself, you are found. Child, live as the flowing river, humble, silent, yet able to soften even the hardest stone. Let the river of grace flow out of you, spreading wherever you go. Do not try to change the world with power. Do it with kindness. Love each person, each day, each moment, for today's small love will grow into tomorrow's great miracle. I will be with you in everything you do, and if you keep your heart soft, you will never run dry from the source of blessings. My beloved, I want you to know that serving me is not merely a task, it is the joy of living. When you truly understand my love, every action you take for me will no longer be a duty but a delight. When you give a part of yourself, you will see another part of you being filled. For the soul never loses when it loves. It only multiplies. You once feared that if you gave too much, you would be emptied. But my child, you will never be empty when you give from the source that is me. Every time you give, I will pour more. Every time you humble yourself, I will lift you. Every time you love, I will grow in you. The joy in serving does not come from seeing immediate results, but from knowing you are working with me. When you help the weak to rise, you are touching the work of heaven. When you comfort the hopeless, you are reconnecting the thread between me and that soul. When you forgive the one who has wronged you, you are reflecting my image. My child, that is the glory of the chosen to become my face in the world. Every moment you live in love, you are turning the world into a sacred place, turning ordinary tasks into prayers. When you cook with a heart of gratitude, when you work with faithfulness, when you speak words of kindness, all of these are sweet fragrances rising to me. I know serving will sometimes wear you down. You may give without receiving love, without being loved in return. But do not let this cause your heart to falter. For I did not call you to love when it is convenient, but to love as I love, without asking for reward, without calculating, without measuring. That love is not weak. It is stronger than any power on earth. When you continue to love in the face of disappointment, you are overcoming evil with good. When you continue to give in times of scarcity, you are laying the foundation for a miracle. When you still smile amid sorrow, all of heaven rejoices. For in that moment, you are more like me than ever. Child, do not think that service is only for the days when you are full of energy. There are days when you must serve through your tears, and those tears are the waters that cleanse the soul. There are days when you feel you have nothing left to give, but as long as you open your hands, I will fill them again. Remember in Matthew 14, when the people were hungry, the disciples said they had nothing but 5 loaves and 2 fish, but from that little I performed a miracle. Likewise, I do not need much. I only need a willing heart. If you offer your small part, I will multiply it many times over. You do not need to do great things. You only need to do small things with great love. My chosen one, let service become the breath of your life. Live as one who is always seeking opportunities to love, not to prove yourself right. When you encounter a difficult person, see it as an opportunity to practice patience. When you meet the weak, see it as an opportunity to show compassion. When you meet the arrogant, see it as an opportunity to learn humility. And when you meet the broken, see it as an opportunity to offer hope. Every interaction you have is a lesson. Every encounter is a mission. Do not search for God's work in distant places. It is within your reach, right in your neighbor, in your coworker, in the person who needs a kind word from you today. Child, do not let the busyness of life stifle your heart of service. The world will always fill your days with hundreds of small tasks, but only those done in love truly last. Choose what is important over what is urgent. Choose listening over arguing. Choose praying over complaining. Choose being present over running after. The world needs people who know how to stop and love. For when you stop, your light shines brightest. I do not call you to do much, but to love deeply. Serving in peace does not mean doing until you are exhausted, but doing from the wellspring of rest. True peace is not sitting still, but knowing that you are where I want you to be, doing what I want you to do. When you live in that peace, you will not need to strain to create results, for I am the one who makes the seed grow. You only need to sow, and I will make it bloom. You only need to light the fire, and I will make the light spread. You only need to obey, and I will move mountains. This is the secret of those who serve in the Spirit. They do not work to be loved, but because they have been loved. Let the joy in serving become your song. When you walk with a smile, the world will recognize that there is a joy not found in wealth or success, but in knowing you are living in line with the purpose of heaven. You will be the evidence that true joy is not stolen by circumstances. It resides within you like a stream that never runs dry. And when others ask you what the secret is, you will point upward and say, "It is my Lord, my beloved child." When you serve in love, the miracle happens. My Spirit begins to flow through you. You will feel that even the most ordinary tasks carry new life. Every word you speak will bring encouragement. Every step you take will sow peace, and every small act will become a light shining into the hearts of those who are closed off. For when you serve not for yourself, but for love, then it is I, the God of love, working through you. You will realize that I do not give power for you to be praised, but for you to love more fully. All true miracles stem from mercy, for love is the highest form of power. Do not think that spiritual power is only for prophets or those who perform signs and wonders. Every one of my chosen ones carries the flame of the Holy Spirit. It burns quietly, but when you obey, it will blaze. When you intercede for others with faith, you are stirring that flame. When you touch someone in pain with compassion, that flame spreads. When you forgive love or speak words of life, my fire is passing from you to others. And that flame never goes out, for it is fed by my very breath. Just as in Acts 2:3-4 the fire descended upon the disciples, so it now burns in you, not to consume others, but to illuminate and warm. Walk then in the unity of love and power, for that is the mark of the Anointed One. Love without power will make you weary, while power without love will make you proud. But when these two become one, you will be a perfect channel for my presence. You will not need to speak much, for your very demeanor will make others feel heaven. You will not need to prove anything, for the peace within you is the strongest proof that I live. My child, the chosen ones do not need to preach loudly, they only need to live deeply in me, and the whole world will listen. I say to you, do not fear the power I have placed in you. Do not think it is too much for you to carry, for it does not come from you, but from me. You are merely a vessel, and a vessel need not fear the wine overflowing, for I am the one who pours and the one who keeps. When I send you, I have already given you everything you need. The right words at the right moment, the strength at the right place, the wisdom at the right time. Trust that when you open your mouth, my Spirit will speak. When you step forward, I will go before you. When you reach out your hands, my power will act. Nothing is by chance. Every person you meet, every task you do, every moment you live is part of the divine flow that I am guiding. My chosen one, you have been trained enough to understand that power is not for ruling but for serving in glory. When you help the weak, you are holding the throne of mercy. When you bring faith to the hopeless, you are opening the gates of heaven. When you speak words of encouragement in the face of fear, you are breaking chains. Every action you take is a ray of my kingdom, and when those rays come together, the whole world will light up. You are no longer just a bearer of light. You have become part of that very light, and as the light in you spreads, it will meet the light in others, and that light will continue to extend like waves on water, never to fade. You will see strange things happening around you, not because you are seeking them, but because they will seek the presence of me in you. You will see prayers answered more quickly because your heart has aligned with my will. You will see those around you begin to change, not because you preached to them, but because they saw peace in you. You will see doors open, not because you knocked hard, but because you carry the key of faith. All the things you once thought impossible will begin to feel natural, for when you live in obedience, miracles become the rhythm of life. This is what I want you to understand. Power does not come to make you different, but to make you complete in my original image. My beloved, glory is not the outer radiance, but the inner light that shines out. When your heart is pure, when you walk in love, that light will shine even when you do not try. People will feel peace when they are near you, without knowing why. They will see hope in your eyes without needing a sermon. That is the power of glory. It does not need to be flaunted, it just needs to exist. Just as the sun does not try to shine, you will not need to strive to have influence. Simply by being in me, you will shine naturally. When you live this way, the world will know that you belong to me. Not because you proclaim my name loudly, but because you reflect my nature. Not because you win battles, but because you give love. Not because you are honored, but because you honor others. You will become a mirror so that anyone who looks at you will see my image. And when you have walked this journey from pain to healing, from weakness to strength, from service to glory, you will understand that the purpose of your life was not to be known, but for me to be known through you. Keep that flame burning. Live in the world without letting its dust obscure your light. Work in silence, but know that heaven is watching over you. Love without fearing hurt, for the love I have placed in you cannot be extinguished. Serve without needing praise, for your reward is with me. Trust, walk live, and you will see. When love, obedience, and power unite as one, your life will become a living hymn, resounding through all eternity. My beloved, when you have learned to live in love, in obedience, and in power, I invite you to step into the final stage of the journey back to completeness. This is not the end, but a deeper unfolding of what I have begun in you. Every life I touch carries the same invitation to return, not to return to the past, but to the origin where you were born in light, where you were called by name before the world began. My child, the life you are living is not merely a series of passing years. It is a sacred pilgrimage where each day is a step back into my embrace. And on this journey, I am not just the destination. I am your companion along the way. You have passed through fire, water, wind, and darkness. You have fallen and risen, cried and smiled again, doubted and then believed. None of these things are meaningless. They are the layers you needed to shed to return to your true essence, pure, unafraid, and full of love. I did not create you to live in confusion, but to find peace in meaning. Every challenge you have faced, every wound you have carried is doing one thing, bringing you back to me. When you lose what you cling to, you learn that only I am unshakable. When you are hurt, you learn what true healing is. When you are alone, you realize that my presence is never absent. And when you are broken, you know that I am not far above, but right in the brokenness, waiting for you to look up. My child, returning does not mean stopping. It is an act of the soul, a deep awakening. When you begin to look at the world with new eyes, the eyes of gratitude, then you have returned. When you begin to love without fear, then you have returned. When you no longer seek meaning in what you achieve, but in how you live, then you have touched the door of completeness. My child, completeness is not the absence of flaws. It is when you allow me to fill the voids. Just as a clay pot is cracked to let the light shine through, you too need the cracks in your life to let my light shine. Do not fear the imperfections, for they are what make you real. I know sometimes you ask, will my life achieve what you desire? But my child, what I desire is not for you to accomplish something, but for you to become who I created you to be. I did not call you to reach milestones, but to touch my heart. I do not want you to race against time. I want you to live deeply in each moment. You still think completeness comes when you achieve all your goals, but truly it comes when you stop long enough to realize that every breath, every step, every small thing I give you holds meaning. When you love in the midst of ordinary days, when you forgive, even though no one notices, when you choose peace instead of winning, that is when you live completely. Do not let the world make you think that completeness means no more pain. True completeness comes when you know that even in pain there is grace. When you learn to see challenges as opportunities, loss as lessons, and waiting as an act of faith, you have entered the kingdom of spiritual maturity. When you can say, "Though I do not understand, I still trust," that is when your soul sings with heaven. For true faith does not lie in seeing miracles, but in believing even before the miracle comes. You think that completeness comes only after all problems vanish, but my child, it begins the moment you smile in the midst of imperfection. I have seen you in the long nights of doubt when you thought I had forgotten you. But if I had ever forgotten you, how could the dawn still come? If I had ever left, how could you still breathe? My child, the fact that you are still living, still feeling, still longing for me, that is proof that I have never left you. You can never wander too far for me to find you. There is no depth I cannot reach, no darkness that my light cannot penetrate. You may run from everyone, but you can never escape my love. As Psalm 139 says, "If I ascend to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. My child, wherever you go, I am with you, not to watch from a distance, but to uphold you." And when you begin to understand that completeness is not found in avoiding suffering, but in finding me in the suffering, you will see that you have never truly been alone. You will realize that every loss has not made you poorer but richer in heart. You will see that no season is wasted, even the season of silence, for in it I speak to you in a language without words. And you will understand, my chosen one, that completeness is not the final reward, but the process of love being perfected. My beloved, when your soul begins to recognize my presence in every moment, that is when you are entering true unity, not through reasoning, but through the heart. This unity does not come through rituals or words, but through the deep awareness of the soul, knowing that I am here in every breath, in every heartbeat, in the soft light shining through your window each morning. You do not need to search for me in distant places, for I have never left you. From the moment you were formed in your mother's womb, I was there. From the moment you took your first cry, I was listening. From the moment you first knew love, pain, trust, and doubt, I was there like a patient father watching as his child learned to walk, stumble, and rise again. When you know how to live in that unity, your life will no longer be divided between the sacred and the mundane. For to me, nothing is outside the holiness of my presence. When you work in silence with gratitude, that is worship. When you care for the weak, that is prayer. When you smile in the midst of trial, that is the song of faith. When you love unconditionally, you are in unity with me. All the boundaries between sacred and everyday will disappear, and you will realize that all of life is my temple. There is no place where I am not present. There is no moment when I am not with you. Many seek me through great actions, but miss me in the small things. They wait for thunder, but do not hear the gentle breeze. They search for lightning, but cannot see the candlelight. Yet I often come in simplicity. I come in the laughter of a child, in the gaze of a mother, in the hand placed gently on your shoulder at the moment you need it most. I come in the slow breath you take when you pause amidst the rush of life. And when you begin to see me in these seemingly ordinary things, you will understand that nothing in this world is ordinary, for all is imbued with my presence. Let your heart relearn how to listen. Do not seek my voice in the noise, but in the silence. For I speak in the language of peace, and only those with still hearts can hear. When you step away from the chaos, when you release your worries, when you cease seeking with your eyes, I will whisper within your soul. I do not shout to capture your attention. I wait for you to choose silence to listen. My voice does not come from without, but from the depths of your soul where you and I meet. My beloved, when you learn to remain still in my presence, You will feel the rhythm of heaven in all you do, in your steps, in your words, in every breath you take. You once thought unity was a distant goal, that only the holy could attain it. But my child, unity is not a reward, it is an inheritance. I sowed it in you from the very beginning. You need only remember. When you stop, when you cease striving to attain, you will realize that you have always been in me, and I have always been in you. As Jesus prayed in John 1:7-1, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me, and I am in you, so that they may be in us. My child, this is both the promise and the reality. You are not trying to get closer to me. You are living in me. When you understand this, fear will vanish. For fear only exists when you believe you are separate. Once you realize that you are never alone, that my hand surrounds you, that every breath you take carries a part of me, you will see that peace is no longer something to search for, but something that already resides within you. You will begin to see the world with eyes of love, because when I dwell within you, you cannot look without loving. You will see me in the beggar, and in the noble in the lost, and in the faithful in laughter and in tears. In that moment, you will no longer distinguish between the lovable and the hard to love, for you will see me in all. Unity is not merely a spiritual experience, but a way of living. It makes you see everything as an extension of myself. You will no longer harm others, for you will understand that every wound is a scar on my body. You will no longer despise anyone, for you know that they bear my image, even if dimly. You will no longer be arrogant, for you will see that you too are but a speck of dust given life by the Spirit. When you live in this awareness, you will walk gently, speak with grace, and act with mercy. This is the unity manifested outwardly, not through lofty words, but through a life of peace, kindness, and light. My chosen one, when you live this way, you will realize that this life is no longer a burden, but a song. Each morning when you wake, your soul will say, "Today is the day of the Lord." And each night when you sleep, your heart will whisper, "Thank you, Lord, for all is good." Then you will no longer fear death, for you will know that death is not loss, but a transition into a deeper union. Death cannot separate you from me, for you have been joined to me by an unbreakable thread, eternal love. When that day comes, the day you return fully in my glory, you will not find fear, but joy. For your soul will recognize the familiar call, the voice you have heard all your life, "My child, come home." You will step through the threshold of time into the unchanging realm, where all you have longed for will be made complete. And I will welcome you not as a distant king, but as a father with arms wide open, smiling and saying, "You have lived as I hoped, you have loved as I love. Now rest in the joy of your Lord, my beloved." This is the moment I speak to you about completion, not as the end of a journey, but as the moment of union between the beginning and the end, where all things once scattered are now gathered into one. Every breath you have taken, every tear you have shed, every laugh, every prayer, all is not lost. They are weaving together into a single melody, the melody of your life, which I, the Alpha and the Omega, am playing in the eternal realm. You thought that there were seasons that passed in vain, but no, my child. In the heavenly realm, no day is wasted. Every moment you live in faith, every time you choose love over fear, every time you forgive, instead of condemning, that is a note added to this sacred symphony. Your wholeness does not come when everything outside is perfectly arranged, but when your soul rests in my will. When you can look back on your life not with regret but with gratitude, that is when you have truly lived. When you can say, "I have walked the path I was called to walk, and I have loved as you taught," that is when you have triumphed. True victory does not lie in human glory, but in the deep peace that comes when you know you have completed the task given to you. You once thought that I sought great actions from you, but my child, what I value most is a faithful heart. A life of faithfulness in the small things is worth more than 1,000 magnificent deeds without love. Now I want you to look at the world through the eyes of eternity. Everything you see is temporary. The joys, the sorrows, the glories and failures, all are but fleeting mist. But the things sown in love, the actions done in faith, the prayers uttered from the heart, these do not vanish. They are kept in the memory of heaven, where time does not exist, where every good deed you have done will shine forever like stars. As Daniel 1:2-3 says, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." You see, my child, wholeness is not only a reward but a continuation. What you sow on this earth will blossom in eternity. My child, when the final moment comes, do not be afraid. Death is not your enemy. It is the messenger of eternity. It comes not to take away, but to lead you through the door where I am waiting. You will not enter into nothingness, but into my embrace. You will not lose yourself, but find yourself in me, complete, radiant, and free. No more tears, no more anxieties, no more separation. Every question will be answered, every wound healed, every deepest longing satisfied. You will see those you love, those you thought you had lost, and you will realize they were never far. For in me there is no separation, only transformation. Everything on this earth is but preparation for eternal love. You will see clearly that every tear you shed has become a pearl in the crown of faith. You will understand that every time you forgave, every time you sacrificed, every time you chose what was right despite the pain, all of these are etched in light. You will hear again the prayers you once whispered in the night, and they will resound like a hymn of thanksgiving in heaven. And when I call your name, not in judgment but in the gentle breath of the wind, you will know that every journey leads here, where love begins and never ends. While you live on this earth, keep your heart turned toward heaven, but do not forget to love the ground beneath your feet. For here I am still at work through you. Each day you breathe is an invitation. Love a little more, forgive a little more, believe a little more. Do not fear that you are not enough, for my grace is sufficient. Do not worry that you have not yet finished, for I will complete what I have started in you. Philippians 1:6. My child, live lightly, knowing that every burden is carried by the hand of your Father. Live with gratitude for everything you have, both joy and tears is a gift. And live with hope, for one day you will see clearly the reason for all that once made you weep. I speak these words as the final words of all. Live as though you have been loved, for indeed you have been loved with eternal love. Live as though you belong to the light, for that light has chosen you. Walk as one who is free, for the chains have already broken. Smile in the night, for the dawn is already set. Believe that in all things, whether great or small, I am with you. Know that your life, whether short or long, is enough to fulfill my will. And when you have loved, fully believed, fully lived, fully, I will welcome you in my glory, where there is no separation, where all souls sing one song, glory be to you, the one who has loved us from eternity to eternity. And my child, before you close your eyes in this temporary world, look around, see that my light has spread from you like a spark, connecting spark to spark. The people you have touched will continue to carry that light far, and my fire will never go out. For every soul you have loved, every word you have spoken in grace, every act you have done in kindness, all continue the eternal mission, bringing light to the darkness, love to the fear, hope to the dry places. And so you will live on not only in memory but in the flow of eternal life, where all things are made new, where all souls are united in my boundless love. I bless you with peace that never fades, with joy that never runs dry, with love that never ends. Live, love, believe. And when the final page of your life is written, know that it does not close, but opens a new chapter in the eternal light. For in me there is no end, only the continuing of love. My beloved, when these words close, I do not want you to think that the journey has ended. In truth, it has only just begun, a new beginning, deeper, more peaceful, more radiant. For the life within you is never a straight line ending in silence, but a sacred cycle between me and you, between giving and receiving, between loving and being loved. Each page you have passed through is not your own story alone, but the narrative of a covenant, renewed the covenant between the Creator and the chosen soul meant to shine. My child, if you stop to listen carefully, you will realize that I have been whispering all along, I am still here. I have never left, never stopped loving, never stopped hoping in you. Even when you rejected me, even when you stumbled, even when you were confused and wanted to turn away, I still stood not in the silence of indifference, but in the quiet of compassion. For true love is never in a hurry. It waits patiently for you to return. I wait not with a clock, but with a heart. And each time you return, even if only with a sigh, a tear, or a clumsy prayer, I will step forward to embrace you, like the father running to meet the prodigal son in Luke 15:20, without reproach, without judgment, only joy. What I want you to remember is not the fear of judgment, but the faith in boundless mercy. The world will always teach you about rules, about right and wrong, but I teach you about compassion. For my love transcends all deeds, and my grace is stronger than sin. No one has gone too far to be beyond my reach, no soul too stained to be washed in the blood of my Son. When Jesus said, "It is finished," it was not just the end on the cross, but the beginning of your freedom. From that moment, all chains were broken, all judgments erased, and every soul, if they choose to believe, can return to the original light. Remember, what I desire most is not your perfection, but your closeness. I do not need you to offer me perfect rituals. I just want to see your heart. A simple, sincere prayer is worth more than 1,000 empty speeches. A small act of love is worth more than 100 grand promises. You do not need to wear holy garments to come close to me. You only need to wear a true heart, for I am not far away, not dwelling on the mountaintop. I dwell within you, in your breath, in your gaze, in the gentle rhythm of your heart when you love. Do not live with the burden of becoming the perfect good person. Live as one who is deeply loved. When you truly understand that you are loved, you will naturally become good, not out of obligation, but because that love becomes your very breath. When you know that I will never forsake you, you will stop striving to prove yourself and begin to live authentically, fully, beautifully. It is in that truth that grace flourishes. When you accept yourself with all your flaws, you will realize that I have never rejected the scars on your soul, for I see the light shining through those cracks. You have learned that time is finite, that every breath is grace. So live as one who knows how to number their days, Psalm 9:012, so that your heart may be wise. Love, while you still can speak kind words, while you have the chance, forgive before the night falls. Do not delay what is good, for tomorrow is never promised to anyone. Everything you do with love today is recorded in my book. It is never lost, never fades, never forgotten. A smile you give, a word of comfort, a moment of silence, instead of responding in anger, all these are seeds of eternity. Do not think that I am only in the sanctuary, for the whole world is my temple. When you walk among the busy streets and your heart remains at peace, you are in my house. When you listen to someone with your heart, you are offering a sacrifice. When you choose gratitude instead of complaint, you are worshiping. Your life is a song, and each day you live is a note in that sacred hymn. Do not separate the sacred from the mundane, for I am in both. Where there is love, where there is truth, where there is gratitude, there I am. In the final days of your journey on this earth, let your heart carry only one thing: peace. Not the peace given by the world, but the peace of one who knows they belong to heaven. This peace does not depend on circumstances, but is born from the unity between you and me. When you know that all things happen within my hands, when you stop fighting to control your life, when you choose to trust instead of worry, that is when you are truly free. Freedom is not doing what you want, but wanting what I want. And when your will aligns with mine, nothing can disturb your soul. If there comes a day when you are weak, do not be discouraged. If there is a moment when you fall, do not be ashamed. Remember, I do not love you less when you stumble. On the contrary, it is in those moments that my love covers you even more strongly. When you fall, I will be the strength that lifts you up. When your eyes are dim with tears, I will be the light. When you lose your way, I will be the voice that calls you home. You cannot fall beyond grace, for grace knows no bounds. It is deeper than the abyss, higher than the sky, and longer than any road you can walk. Let this be engraved in your heart. Nothing you do can make me stop loving you. The most beautiful gift you can give me is not your talents, but a heart of gratitude. When you thank me in the midst of trials, you are doing what even the angels bow to. When you thank for the small things, you are opening the door to great miracles. Gratitude is the soil for joy, and joy is the fragrance of unity. Let your mouth speak words of thanks every day, not because everything is easy, but because everything has purpose. And when you thank for the pain, you have risen above it, for in that moment, you are no longer a victim, but a transformed soul. I want you to know that I rejoice in you, not because you are perfect, but because you have not given up. I rejoice because you still seek me in the darkness, still believe when there is no reason to, still love when there is no return. You may not see the full impact of this, but in heaven, every small act of love makes your eternal crown shine brighter. When you help someone who is falling, all of heaven rejoices. When you choose forgiveness, the angels sing. When you welcome a stranger, it is I who am being welcomed. My child, the one who lives in love, never lives in vain. When you hear these words, your heart may be at peace or it may be in turmoil. But no matter what, take a moment and breathe deeply. Let this breath be a reminder that I am still within you. You do not need to do anything to deserve this breath. It is already a gift. Every heartbeat, every ray of light that passes through is the mark of my never-ending compassion. And when you look back on the days gone by, you will see that I never stopped weaving the threads of miracles, even in the darkest chapters. It is in the night that my light shines brightest. It is in the silence that my voice echoes deepest. If you forget everything else, remember this: you are loved, not because you are good, but because I am love, not because you deserve it, but because I have ordained it so. You may forget me, but I can never forget you. You may wander far from me, but I cannot wander far from you. My love is not measured by time, not counted by deeds, not limited by sin. It just is as I am. And when you love others with that small part of my love, you are extending me on this earth. Every time you love, the world is healed a little. My chosen one, live fully, but do not forget to rejoice. Work hard, but do not forget to rest. Serve, but do not forget to see the flowers bloom, hear the birds sing, laugh with your loved ones. For I do not only want you to live for me, I want you to live with me. Let my love become your joy, so that joy may become a song for the world. When you live this way, you will be proof that heaven is not far. It has already begun right here. When this journey ends, when you see the door of light opening, you will not be afraid. You will realize that it is not the end, but another dawn. I will welcome you not with thunder, but with a smile. You will hear me call, you have come home. And when you step in, the songs of all the angels will blend with your laughter, forming the anthem of your return. No more tears, no more separation, only love spreading endlessly, eternally, and never fading. My beloved, carry these words like a flame in the night, so that when the world becomes dim, you will remember that the light is within you. Let each day you live be a word of thanksgiving. Each action you take be a prayer, and each breath you inhale be a silent Amen sent to heaven. For your life, when lived in love, is the most beautiful hymn I have ever written. And now I bless you. Peace go with you, so that even when the winds rise, your heart remains still. Joy go with you, so that even when the night is long, you still smile. Love go with you, so that even when the world changes, you still have light. O child of light, live, love, believe. For I, the one who called you, the one who is with you, and the one who will receive you, am still here, still waiting, still loving, from now until forever. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can receive the living words, build a firm faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.